Hello YouTube, this is the Bucket coming at you today with my Colt M1911A1. This is a Series 80 Colt 1911 government model. I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of this gun, talk about what makes this gun a little unique, and what my thought is on this particular gun. So let's first talk about the specs of this gun. It is a traditional Commander 1911, which means that it's got a 7+1 mag capacity. It is a steel frame, steel slide, steel barrel, chambered in 45 ACP. The overall length comes in at 8.5 inches. The barrel length is 5 inches. The width is 1.25 inches. The height is 5.5 inches, and it comes in at 34.5 ounces with a mag unloaded. These came out of the box with these rubberized grips. It had a plastic mainspring housing and a plastic trigger, and it came in with this grayish parkerized finish. So Colt had been producing high-end 1911s for a very long time, and they kind of ran the market on it. They had competition ones, they had gold cups, they had like all kinds of different stuff. But guns like the Chinese Norinco were coming in and they were losing some of the profit share, and Colt decided that they were going to come up with a bare bones, inexpensive, entry-level Colt 1911 that they could use to compete with the Norincos. And they had simple military style sights and just were a pretty simplistic, basic entry-level 1911. For us right now, it seems very confusing because there's so many great entry-level 1911s, but Colt wanted to compete. So they came up with this very kind of parkerized style finish. You can see like on mine, that's actually just a imperfection in the finishing, and you'll just see sometimes that there'll be some streaks in it and whatnot. Again, they cut some corners with the plastic pieces so they could just lower that price point in for an entry 1911. Mine has what's called the old roll marks, so that's what the collectors call these particular guns, and it just says Colt M1991A1. That's a trademarked name. On the other side, it'll just say Series 80, then it'll have the serial number and where it was made. This has pretty much been like a really, really big no-no in the Colt collector community because they didn't put the prancing pony on the slide, and they made these really big roll marks that just weren't very much, Colt-esque. The idea behind it was in 1991, this gun was going to come out, and they started the serial numbers right where they ended off in 1945. And that was supposed to be something that made this gun particularly cool. And Colt collectors, and me being one, we can be kind of a finicky bunch. We can be kind of a little bit nitpicky about little things, and not having the prancing pony was a big problem for a lot of people. So they ended up realizing that was a problem, and then they ended up coming up with kind of that more traditional blue style finish, and they put a more traditional style roll mark on it with the prancing rampart pony on it. So those are called new roll marks. So if you ever see ORM or NRM, that's just basically talking about the roll marks. These are actually considered to be very functional, very good 1911s. Even with the plastic trigger, it's a Colt 1911 trigger. It's not a match trigger, but it gets the job done, and it does a really good job. And frankly, for the type of person that was buying an entry-level 1911, it really did everything it was supposed to be. And if you go on the forums, you'll just see people all day long talking about how this is a great base. If you want to upgrade it, you can send it off to be reblued. You can upgrade the parts that you want, and kind of almost like a Glock. If you're going to upgrade the parts anyway, why would you pay for more expensive parts if you want it to be a certain way? I'll tell you, when I picked this up at the gun show, I mean, it's just smooth. It's just a good Colt. It's just the way that it feels good in the hand. There are some, like I said, you can just kind of see a little imperfection in the slide, but it's not a deal breaker. And, it was a lot less expensive than some of the higher end 1911s that Colt was making at the time. Now, as far as shooting goes, this gun was 100% reliable. It was fed up everything. I was shooting herders, I was shooting MagTech. It just shot really, really good. Now, with any 1911, you know, it's going to be a natural pointer, and the trigger is going to be really good as well. It's the reliability that you want to make sure that you get. It shot point of aim, point of impact. I'd put a little bit of orange paint, little UGD loving on that front sight. Made it very easy to pick up. Now, it isn't a 3-dot sight, which I like, which I think helps with accuracy. But I had no problem with my accuracy. I was ringing steel from 20 yards without any problem. As far as the accuracy goes, that was a flyer. That was just me. I got that barely hit the 3-inch circle, and then I put the other 3 rounds right down smack dab in the middle of it. So what do I think about this gun? So I think that, you know, mine was made in 1994, so mine's a little broken in. Like I said, it's not perfect as far as the finish goes, and obviously I'd prefer if it didn't have a couple plastic parts. But you can get these inexpensively. I found that the Tissos and the Gerson, they're a little bit clunkier, they're a little bit tighter. I think they take a little bit longer to break in. I think this is a much, much better gun. Definitely better than a Rock Island. Any one of the Filipino guns, this is definitely going to have much more reliability than any one of those guns will. So if you can go to a pawn shop, if you can pick up something on the used market, something like this for $600, $700, it's a lot better than, you know, some of the Turkish options that are out there. Not saying that Turkish guns are bad, just saying this extra $100 for the reliability, for the fit and finish, I like it. And you get to say that you own a Colt, which I think has some benefits to it. So I do want to thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. All the likes, the comments, the shares, they're really, really appreciated. And as always, you stay classy, YouTube.
I learned a lesson. Never half-ass 2 things. Whole-ass 1 thing.